Next week is budget week. Rishi's autumn budget will be delivered on Wednesday, and already people are getting nervous. The Confederation of British Industry is today warning the Chancellor against any further clobbering of British business, particularly with yet more taxes. I have to say I've not always agreed with the CBI, but they're absolutely spot on here. We're charging towards our highest tax burden in more than half a century. Individuals are shortly to see the state pinch from more of their pay packets, and businesses will face higher corporation tax too. And ultimately, corporation tax does not hit the legal fiction of a corporation. What is a corporation, after all? Corporation tax falls on salaries, on investment, and on prices. Lower salaries, lower investment, higher prices. Most concerningly of all, that means lower growth. The state has borrowed over £300 billion, the sort of money that is almost impossible to imagine. It's like spending several NHSs all at once. There's no magic money tree. This gargantuan debt has to be paid back. And, perhaps counterintuitively, deploying tax rises here or there simply cannot raise the cash required. The entire tax take of the UK, the entire tax take, is expected to be around £550 billion. The way you grow that isn't by jacking up taxes further, it's by growing the economy. The brutal truth of the matter is that the state has always struggled to achieve a tax take that's much above 35% of GDP. That's whatever the tax rates are. Even in the dark post-war days of incredibly high taxation, the state was never able to match tax take to tax rates. Tax take always fell around 35% of GDP. Ultimately, tax rises change behaviour and shift investment patterns. We understand this in the context of so-called sin taxes. We want less smoking, so we tax it. The state wants less alcohol consumption, so that's taxed too. The state wants less sugar, so that's taxed as well. And exactly in the same vein, what do business taxes mean? Less business. What do income taxes mean? Less income. A big state, high tax, high prices economy is categorically not the way to pay back the pandemic costs. When he stands at that dispatch box next week, the Chancellor has to have one theme running through everything he does. Growth. 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 We're staring down the barrel of an incredibly grim recovery. High taxes, worker shortages, and deeply concerningly, high inflation. Itself a stealth tax that eats away at people's savings. It's time to return to that old Tory orthodoxy. Spurring business is the only sustainable way for public services to be paid and debts to be paid down. Tax rises risk doing precisely the opposite.